We believe in you.
All right. You seeing us on there, Bill?
Not at the moment. Still see the logo.
It's a 20-second delay.
Yeah, somewhere around then.
We believe in you.
We're good. We're here. All right. Excellent. We'll get going then. Good evening. Glad to have you all here and joining us tonight. I imagine some more people will continue to pop on the YouTube live stream as we go along. I'm Andrew Guilford. I'm the principal here at ISB. And tonight we're going to be sharing with you aspects of the ISB high school program. Assuming you're here either because you are current 8th grader here at ISB trying to decide whether to return next year as a 9th grader, or you're looking to enter the lottery to come in as a 9th grader or a 10th grader or even an 11th grader. If you're here because you're interested mostly in the middle school program, know that we will be doing a similar presentation same time next week, but with information targeted more specifically to the ISB middle school. So tonight's going to focus primarily on high school. We have about I'd say probably 30 to 45 minute presentation to share with you. In the YouTube live stream, you can put questions in that live stream, or I'm sorry, in the chat on the YouTube live stream, you can put questions in there. We will wait until the end to answer any of those questions. So if you want to hold off, you can kind of just keep tabs of what questions you want to ask. And at the end, we'll give you a chance to type those in and then address whatever those are that you have. Any questions that don't get answered tonight, or if things occur to you later on, obviously you can reach out to the school and we'll make sure we are able to follow up with you. So with that, we'll get rolling. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see the presentation as we go here. Let's see here. And let me change this. High school open house. Oops. Move that over so I can get to the present. All right. Bill, if you could confirm with me, I know it'll take a few seconds because there's a little bit of delay to the live stream. Confirm with me when you can see the presentation on the live stream as well. Perfect. Okay, great. So once again, welcome. What we thought we'd do is go ahead and start with some introductions here. And I'll share, and then I'll have everybody else here in the room share with you as well, kind of who we are, what our role is here, how long we've been at ISB, and then knowing that we were all gone last year, so to speak, or learning from home during the pandemic, what we missed most about ISB and are glad to be back and be seen. So once again, I'm Andrew Guilford. I'm the principal. This is my first year here as the principal. I started in July, so I've only been here for about 6 months at this point. And I realized as I was sort of been wandering through the halls and popping in and out of classrooms, and especially listening to our band and our choir, I missed during the pandemic, I missed it when learning was visible. I noticed that when kids are in person, as somebody who does a lot of observations of classes and a lot of observations of learning, I'm actually getting to see it again. And when we were all living in Zoom land last year, didn't quite have that same opportunity. So happy to be seeing kids back here and making their learning visible. Our choir practices out in the hallways sometime. Our band actually is in this outside common space. And so we get to see quite a bit of them and get to see the fun things that they're doing. Scott?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Scott Gladney. I am the assistant principal at ISB, and I am going on my 10th year here. Something that I missed in pandemic times that I'm now super thankful for, honestly, is kids having fun together. I was able to participate with an ISB high school coffee house a couple of weeks ago. And then just recently, the middle school Harvest Social. And both of them had kids doing a variety of activities together, having fun together, connecting with one another, and building relationships. And there was hardly any of that. It was very hard to do remotely. And it's just been a joy. Passing it on to Catherine.
Hi, everybody. I'm Catherine Hirsch. I'm one of the high school counselors. I share 8th through 12th grade with Tracy Meilenberg, who did the presentation at our last high school open house. So I work with students 8th through 12th grade with last names A through L. And Tracy and I work closely together to serve all the high school students. This is my 4th year at ISB. And something that I miss during CDL and pandemic times is similar to Mr. Guilford and Mr. Gladney, is just being able to see students, talking to students in the cafeteria, going into classrooms, just more real connect face-to-face time, and also seeing all of my colleagues because I really enjoy all of the people that I work with. So I will pass it on to Mr. Allen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Allen. I teach 9th grade AGS 1 math class. This is also my 4th year. Catherine and I started the same year. Very similar. I miss joking with the kids, smiling with the kids and my colleagues, the laughter that goes along. I actually have the pleasure to work across from Mr. Fruing. And at any given moment, he's got a lot of laughter and noise going in his room. My neighbor to the other side, Mr. Wandell, similar. Just the activity and the camaraderie of our school, I think, is a good way to put it, both with the teachers and the students. So I'm glad to be back. And just having those little side conversations with kids that you just couldn't do on Zoom are priceless. And now to Mr. Fruing.
Yeah, Bill, I'd like to apologize for those noises from the Spanish classroom. I'm Dirk Fruing. I have taught Spanish 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year, both of the IB years of Spanish for now 10 years here at ISB. And I also missed the kids, and I missed the interaction and the ability to sort of improvise and respond. And we could deliver instruction and such, but we couldn't respond quickly to their reaction in the same way that we can in the classroom, and read the room and notice where we need to go next, or how we need to better tailor what we're doing to reach kids and keep them engaged.
So I wanted to share the ISB school mission with you because truly I think it is at the center of everything that we do. And there are elements of it that represent and express the values that we hold as a school. It's aspirational in terms of meaning that it gives us something to work towards. And I think it acts as a grounding point for us to ensure that the decisions we are making, the shifts that we make at times in our programs, all have a purpose and are there for a reason. And I've actually structured tonight's presentation really in many ways around this school mission. We're going to be talking about internet and what it means to have an international lens and to have intercultural respect. We'll be sharing a lot about our high school program and how that connects to intellectual rigor. And then talking a little bit about the role that service plays here at ISB and why that helps us truly achieve the promise of a peaceful world, as is mentioned there in the school mission. So at ISB, we encourage students to learn through an international lens as thoughtful, compassionate world citizens. We actively embrace intellectual rigor, intercultural respect, service to our local and world communities, and the promise of a peaceful world. So I want to start off by talking about what it means to learn through an international lens and what it means for students to have intercultural respect. Our curriculum is first and foremost an international curriculum associated with the International Baccalaureate Organization. And we'll be jumping into that in more depth in just a little bit here. But as part of that curriculum, there's a tremendous intentionality to ensure that students are learning, are gaining a global lens, getting perspectives from a variety of voices, from a variety of places, understanding how history impacts a variety of much of the world beyond just United States or North America. Are learning languages and social sciences that connect, and literature that connects far and broad. So we'll talk more about that later, though. We also try to create frequent opportunities for students through some of the things that you're seeing on the slide here, whether that's guest speakers or guest performers. We have relationships with other international schools or schools in other countries. We've hosted student groups here over the years. Unfortunately, the pandemic put a brake on some of those things. But now, I think for me, at least, the light is at the end of the tunnel for coming out of this, and looking forward to bringing many of these things back up. Our student groups and our clubs often have an international dimension to them. And many of our staff either are from or have taught and lived in other countries around the world. And so that notion of looking outward is really a solid part of all that we do.
And coupling with that, I think one of the greatest assets we have as a school is that we have an incredibly diverse student population. First bullet point, we have 48 home languages spoken amongst our ISB families. That is such a gift. There's no better way to, I feel no better way to really embrace intercultural respect than to sit down with somebody across from you and talk about similarities, differences, and then just being able to walk in someone else's shoes. And you'll walk by a table of students that are eating lunch, and there'll be 5 different cuisines there from home, and it's rather incredible. And it's one of the gifts that ISB has, is just a very culturally rich student population. Coupling with that, we also have some intentional activities. Culture Week is put on by our parent group, Friends of ISB, Frisbee. An International Night is put on by our World Language National Honor Societies and some of our student affinity groups, where it's just a celebration of different cultures and kind of like a family fun fair kind of event. Aside from it does say intellectual rigor here. I like to think of our IB learner profile as approaching making humans great humans. When you look at the 10 learner profile attributes, everything from inquirers down to reflective, these are all of the things that we try to instill in our kids every single day, 6th grade through 12th grade, knowing that there's no finish line, but just improving people as well-rounded individuals. So it's not just about the intellectual rigor found within the context of our textbooks, but also through just making our place a little bit, our world a little bit better, through having great kids walk through our halls.
So we're going to go in a little bit more to talk about what it means to be an IB school and what the IB program is. So ISB is designated as an International Baccalaureate Organization World School, and we are authorized to offer the International Baccalaureate Middle Years program, which is 6th through 10th grade. And then the International Baccalaureate Diploma Program, which is 11th and 12th grade. So as a 6th through 12th school, we ensure a smooth transition from middle school to high school by using the middle years program as a bridge. But that doesn't mean that we have students that start in 9th grade and also are prepared to enter the diploma program as 11th and 12th graders. So the diploma program starts in 11th and 12th grade, and that really models the first 2 years of college. And those classes that start in 11th grade are 2-year courses that students finish up in 12th grade. And we'll talk a little bit more about that whole program. So at ISB, we definitely have a college going culture. The majority of our students do apply to 4-year schools, but we do have students that go into the trades, 2-year schools, take gap years, you name it. We work with students to help them get wherever they want to go after high school. We have a 100% graduation rate. The college and career readiness curriculum is embedded into our coursework and advisory lessons. We use AVID strategies school-wide. And so we are talking about college and middle school and from 9th on to 12th grade. Also, myself and the other high school counselor work closely with students individually starting in junior year, kind of planning for after high school and working with students to make sure they have everything that they need for applications, scholarships, financial aid, you name it. So I mentioned AVID. Some families and students watching right now might be part of an AVID program at their school. So AVID is an elective class for grades 9 through 12. It's designated for first generation college-bound students and basically helps with the college application search process, financial aid, and also academic skill development. So all current 8th grade AVID students must reapply for high school, but any high school students that are coming to us that are currently in AVID, we can place them directly into that AVID class so that they can continue with it. Okay, so some other programs that we have at ISB are academic support programs that you may have at the schools you're currently at as well. The English language development and special education. So we have these services at ISB that are probably very similar to the schools that you're currently at. And we provide support for any students that receive special education or are English language learners. So we do the inclusion model, have small group instruction, and also case managers that meet with teachers and parents.
I think one of the reasons why we wanted to highlight the AVID program, as well as the notion that we offer special ed services and ELD services. This section of the presentation is about intellectual rigor. And we are committed as a school to ensuring that each of our students that comes through here is able to achieve at a high level. And so we ensure that we put the supports in place for any student, regardless of what their readiness level is. And Catherine mentioned briefly sort of the incredibly high graduation rate. We also have an incredibly high rate of achieving the IB diploma, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But just wanted to really make explicit the fact that we support and each student that comes through here, and we believe in their success and their ability to achieve that success. So the middle years program for the IB spans grades 6 through 10. If you are entering high school or entering ISB as a 9th grader, you attended a different middle school, you can still achieve the MYP certificate and complete the middle years program. It's developmentally appropriate in the sense that our teachers strive to integrate the curriculum across the course areas, strive to make it as hands-on and as project-based as possible. Much of what we are doing during those middle years program is setting kids up to be successful in that diploma program. So we don't think of 9th grade as separate from 10th grade, or honestly, really 6th grade as separate from 9th grade. That we have worked and are continuing to work to articulate our program 6 through 12. So the decisions we are making about what to include in our middle years program in terms of courses, in terms of the skills of those courses, in terms of what level those skills will be taught, are all really with the end goal of ensuring that each of our students is going to successfully be able to attain a full IB diploma by the time they have finished high school at the end of 12th grade. In addition to, I think what I would say is incredibly strong academics in the middle years program, students also are engaged in community service. That happens every year at a variety of points, but it culminates in the 10th grade year with personal project, in which there has to be a service component to that project that each 10th grader engages in. Every subject area has end tasks that are aligned to specific criterion. That again, those criteria that we are assessing students on are in support of their success later on, are aligned with what comes after the middle years program as well. And we do have an MYP celebration at the end of 10th grade. Kids are awarded the certificate if they've in fact completed all of the requirements for that MYP program. We do have students occasionally come and join us in 10th grade and stay through high school. Those students wouldn't necessarily earn the MYP certificate, but we feel very confident that we're able to support them in that 10th grade year and then beyond if they choose to stay for 11th and 12th. Just as we design our program or sort of think through our program, we're aligning that program all the way from 6th grade through 12th grade. Now, the diploma program starts at junior year and things shift a little bit. It's a comprehensive 2-year program, and all of the courses, almost all of the courses that students are taking during the diploma program year, so this is grades 11th and 12th, are the same courses. So what I mean by that is, for example, for science, for biology, they have biology in both grade 11 and grade 12. Their history class, which is an IB history of Asia, is one of the sort of the main thrusts of the program. Again, runs as a 2-year class. So all of the DP or diploma program levels, grades 11 and 12, are 2-year courses, which allows for a level of depth, allows for a level of rigor, and allows for a multi-year skills approach to really preparing students for what's going to come after high school. The IB diploma program is recognized by universities across the country and truly across the world as being rigorous, as being college preparatory. Many of our students who come back to us the year after they've left ISB often talk about not only how well prepared they are, but actually find their first year of college sometimes easy for them because of the preparation that we've done. Depending upon how students score on IB exams, which happen at the end of senior year, there's a possibility for college credit from most of the IB courses that we offer. Truly, the courses, each IB course, while there's content specific to that course, really are challenging students to be able to think critically, to read critically, to write critically, all at a high level. Some of these things I think I already mentioned. So the IB diploma program really focuses on depth over breadth. There's 6 main subject areas. Those courses are taught at either what's called a higher level or a standard level. Some of those are like biology and English and history are all kids come into it at the higher level. Later on, after the end of the senior year, they can decide to test if they want to test it at the higher level or not. But there's challenging assessments that are part of that. Some of those happen internally, meaning that we actually provide the assessments and then give our scores to IBO, but also there are sit-down external tests that kids take that then get sent off to IBO for assessment there. Those all happen during May of senior year. And the results from both those internal assessments or internal examinations and external examinations are what make up whether or not the students actually earn that IB diploma. Students also have to conduct an extended essay, which is like an independent research project, which they do over the course of their junior and senior year. It's built into some classes, and as well as students have to work independently on that outside of class time. They also are required to take a class called Theory of Knowledge, which is really I want to call it a philosophy class, but it looks at how disciplines gain knowledge. What does it mean to know something scientifically? What does it mean to know something mathematically? What are the different ways that we know and the different ways that we formulate knowledge? And then at the DP level, at the 11th and 12th grade years, all students are required to participate in CAS, or creativity, action, and service, which are a series of volunteer opportunities, a series of activities kids have to do to serve their community, and also to broaden themselves in terms of their own their own creativity, their own engagement in the artistic world, their own engagement in athletics. So because the diploma program is a comprehensive program, there are very few opportunities for electives. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in a moment. But truly, choosing ISB is the elective. We have a set program that has restrictions because it's part of the IB world. And that means that students are often giving up the opportunity to take some classes they would have, say, at the comprehensive high school. However, it's an integrated program, and it's a program that pushes students to go beyond where they might have gone otherwise and truly prepares them for their next steps.
So what makes ISB's diploma program unique? Honestly, you could go to one of the comprehensives and become a diploma program candidate with them. But honestly, this is our wheelhouse. This is all we do. We are a very articulated 6 through 12 program, and we prepare all of our students that walk through our doors to be successful, or set them up to be successful by the time they hit 11th grade, to be in a full college level course load. All of our staff are on board with that. And some of the great things about ISB are that we're a small school. Doesn't necessarily mean small class sizes, but we are a small school. So if you value connections with peers and connections with teachers, you will have multiple years in which you'll probably have the same teacher and really start to build those professional relationships. We also believe that wherever you are in your academic journey, when you come into ISB, you are the right person for it. And we are going to try everything that we can to make sure that we set you up for success. We also believe that by the end of the 12th grade, that all students should be shooting for those stars and be sitting for their IB exams. So now we're going to get into the academics just a little bit. Group 1, language and literature. This is your language arts classes. As Mr. Guilford said earlier, we don't have a lot of choice at ISB. All of our freshmen take Lit and Comp 9. All 10th graders take Lit Comp 10. And then all 11th and 12th graders are in the IB course, Lang and Lit 1 and HL 1 and 2. The curriculum itself, though, has an international focus to it. So whether it's the poetry or the short stories, the novels, all of them are carefully thought of with an international lens. And not only are we reading books in English, we're also reading books that have been translated to English from other languages around the world. That is one of the expectations that we have of our language arts department, that all students are reading a book that has been translated into English, and we're really studying, what is literature around different cultures, and comparing it to books and novels that have been written in English.
World languages. We offer 3 languages: Japanese, Mandarin, and Spanish. And you can see on the table there, depending upon the grade of entry, we can meet you where you're at, and we can get you to an IB level exam. If you start in the 7th grade, you progress through the sequence. And if you show up later, there is a version of the language exam that's sort of made for students who may have moved in or transitioned in, that is adjusted a little bit. So regardless of when you arrive, and I have students every year in this situation who have fewer years prior to arriving in the diploma program, you are eligible for the diploma. And while we are not an immersion program, I think the idea that language is not an elective, language is a requirement. Your choice is one of the 3. I think that really adds to a lot of the global nature of the points that we've heard earlier about the program and the curriculum.
So group 3 is referred to as individuals and societies, in common vernacular, often just called social studies. You can see at each grade level what it is, the course that's being offered. The IB history at the 11th and 12th grade, actually, obviously global studies at 9th grade level, and then IB history at 11th and 12th grade truly have a global perspective to it. Much of IB history focuses on history of Asia, but there is also kind of an additional unit that's put in there that relates to sort of a rise of totalitarian societies in Western Europe as well, especially during the 20th century. Even though these are social studies classes, these are also all writing classes. What we have found is that our students are most successful when they are strong writers. And so writing happens much throughout the curriculum, obviously in English language arts, but also in the individuals and societies classes, very much so in science as well. We know, and actually for the IB exams that happen senior year in the world languages, students are writing essays in that world language of their choice. And so we recognize that the role that writing has in student success and in their success in college after they leave us as well. There's a lot of global themes that show up in these individuals and societies courses, whether that be human rights, conflict resolution, global citizenship, notion of internationalism or globalization. All of those kind of are themes that wind their way through the individuals and societies set of courses that we have.
Group 4, the sciences. Again, not a lot of choice here, but each of the grade levels they're prescripted, but they're prescripted at a pretty high level. So all of our freshmen take STEM physics, sophomores are in STEM chem, and then they have a 2-year biology course. All of these are lab based. Kids are expected to work up independent labs and then do their own data crunching and produce reports. Each of the grade levels also integrates technology into the sciences. And I will say, once you get to 11th and 12th grade, for those students that are heavily focused on the STEM, there is an opportunity to double up on your sciences and get into an IB chemistry course as well. And we'll get into that a little bit later as well. But that's often a question we get, so I'll just beat you to the punch. Yes, you can be in an IB bio and an IB chem simultaneously. More to come on that as well.
Okay, regarding mathematics, the nice thing about our program is, kids come in their freshman year in 9th grade. There's 3 possible slots they could enter into. But even for the students on the second row there that are in AGS 1 as a starting point, which is not the majority of our students start in the AGS 2 column. But even the students in the AGS 1 column, after they take AGS 2 in 10th grade, their IB application and interpretation, SL 1 and 2, is equivalent to a contemporary math 105 class at a college level. And then the majority of our kids enter in that AGS 2 and then take AGS 3, algebra, geometry, and statistics as 10th graders. And then they're into analysis and approaches, SL 1 and SL 2, which is a 200 level class. Does not have calculus specifically, but has calculus elements in it. And then obviously there's students who are a little bit further ahead. That start at AGS 3 as 9th grade and then go to pre-calculus in 10th grade and then finish in the HL track in years 11 and 12. All quite rigorous. Our math teachers are exceptional and they do an awesome job getting those kids to where they need to be and supporting kids who maybe math isn't their best subject. So, but everyone comes in at least at AGS 1 and above.
Okay, so our group 6, this is where students have a little bit of choice, where everything else is pretty much laid out. This is our arts and electives group. So part of the middle years program, so for grades 9 and 10, arts is required. So students have a choice. If you look in the 9th and 10th grade column, they can take art, concert or symphonic band, concert choir, or advanced vocal ensemble. So most of our students choose one of those for 9th grade and continue that on to 10th grade. But as you can see, when students get into the diploma program for 11th and 12th grade, they do not have to continue with art and actually can choose a different group 6. So students who want to continue with art tend to go into the IB art, and we have an SL and HL level depending on that student's level and for what they want to do after high school. We do have students who want to take an additional science class. We have a lot of students who want to do that, and will take IB chemistry, which is an SL level class, and that goes for 2 years as well. We have IB psychology SL and IB global politics. So typically students at the end of their 10th grade year, when they're forecasting, we let them know what the group 6 choices are. They choose their first and second choice, and we try to at least give them their second choice for that 11th and 12th grade year, and then IB music as well. And then some other courses, electives that would be in a student's schedule. Some I mentioned earlier, but in 9th and 10th grade, part of the requirements for graduation is PE and health. So in 9th and 10th grade, every student will be taking a semester of PE and a semester of health to fulfill that graduation requirement. And that's for the Oregon diploma. In 9th grade, our students will either be taking as an elective IB seminar, AVID, academic seminar, or advanced science research. IB seminar is a class that kind of brings in some AVID strategies and skills, study skills, time management, that sort of thing, and just to help support the other classes. AVID I talked about earlier, that's a class and elective that you would have to either apply for or have been in before. Academic seminars to support our special education students. And we also have the ELD support class I talked about earlier, and advanced science research, which is an additional science class that students can apply for. In 10th grade, there is a part of the middle years program is they'll take their personal project, which is a research project that they do. So that's built into their schedule, and that is paired with IB seminar. And then again, if students receive AVID, academic seminar, or ELD, that will continue into their schedule. Once students enter the diploma program, in 11th grade, they have a quarter of extended studies. So they'll have a quarter with IB for IB biology, IB history, IB language, and extended essay. And this is a quarter class, and that's to support those IB higher level courses. So that's an additional elective to help support those courses. Students will start their TOK in 11th grade and finish that out into 12th grade. There is some space once students are well into the diploma program in 12th grade, where they might be able to have a late arrival and still fit in all of their IB courses. So obviously you can tell we have very rigorous courses. The IB diploma program is a 2-year program and is modeling the first 2 years of college. But I want to bring you to the next slide, which kind of shows the kind of results that we get with our students. Oh, yes. So this is one we always put into our presentation. This shows percent of students enrolled in college the first year after high school who returned for a second year. So freshman to sophomore persistence. And college persistence matters. So our students not only get into 4-year colleges and universities, but they stay there. That's why ISB students are particularly attractive to admission counselors, because our students not only go on to these colleges, but they stay for 4 years and graduate. So you can see our average of persistence is over 90%, and the national average is around 70%. So academic excellence. So just to give a shout out to our former students, and each year the seniors blow me away. When we have our senior awards ceremony, we tally up all of the scholarship grants and scholarship money that students receive. So you can see this was the total from this year in grants and scholarships for the class of 2021. And we only had 87 graduates. So that's a lot of money for such a small class.
And I think in addition to the internal metrics we can give you, like scholarships and graduation rates, we're recognized obviously throughout Oregon, but truly across the country as well in terms of the academic excellence. Obviously been ranked by US News and World Report, as well as other organizations that do high school rankings. And it is a source of pride for us. I think it speaks a tremendous amount to our student self-discipline and hard work, to our teacher commitment for the success of students, and to the support that families give their kids and give school in order to be able to help with that success. I don't think this tells the whole story, though. This is one way of measuring success, but however, it doesn't necessarily show all of the dimensions or qualities to the students that we have, or of the students that we have by the time that we graduate. And this may sound silly, but just as some simple examples, in my first week here, seeing a teacher walk down the hall carrying way too many bags because she was probably still moving stuff back from home in the summer and bringing it back into school, and seeing a kid pause and offer to help carry things. Watching our juniors and seniors form group chats, not so that they can say rude things to each other online and in social media, but because they all then have a venue to reach out to each other to say, hey, did you understand the biology homework tonight? And truly be with each other in a supportive environment. And to see students really do amazing things with their personal projects, with their CAS projects that are truly of a nature of service. And these are the kinds of things that don't necessarily show up in these types of rankings, but I think are also the kinds of things that our staff and our families are most proud of. Just some amazing CAS projects kids do during the 11th and 12th grade year. And some amazing things kids do through clubs, through student organizations that I think get at the heart and soul of who our students are and how they want to give back to the world. And so we know that that's an important part of growing a whole child and a whole student. And so we make sure that those opportunities are built in throughout those years of high school and really throughout all years of middle school and high school, so that students have the opportunity to grow in those ways as well. We offer a tremendous amount of co-curricular activities. There's a lot of clubs here. These are just some examples of some that we've had over the years. Many of these, such as Model UN, Junior State of America, actually have international elements to them. Obviously, our various honor societies that are associated with the languages the students are learning also do that as well. And so many of our students participate in these co-curricular activities. And if they don't see a club they want to join, they form one. And it seems like every year we've got a new set of clubs that students want to make happen, and because it's things that are important to them, and if it's important to them, they want to make sure that ISB has it. And we make sure, because of the heavy academics, we make sure that there needs to be fun here. And so we do after school activities, whether those are what we call coffee houses, which is really an opportunity for students to hang out and share their creativity with each other after school. We have dances like other high schools have. We do spirit weeks with dress up. Halloween is strongly celebrated here by both students and staff. And we recognize that if we're going to spend a lot of time focusing on learning and focus on our growth, part of that has to be time focused on play as well.
Another common question we get is, do you have sports and athletics at ISB? And the answer is not at ISB. Well, we have athletes at ISB because they all compete with their home high schools. You can see from the pictures, we've got everything from soccer players to water polo to volleyball, basketball, cross country, track. We've got it all. And the way that works out is that we have kids can be co-enrolled or co-enrolled in both ISB and their home high school, so they can compete. And it's an OSAA regulation that they can't be under our roof and then call themselves just an ISB kid under another school's name. But yes, we do have athletics because our kids do compete with their home high schools. Transportation is a unique beast of its own at ISB, and I'm going to do my best to explain it, but it can be a little bit difficult. First of all, our school day starts pretty darn early in the morning. We start at 7:30 a.m., and that's by design. Our morning transportation system works like this. Kids will get up way before light hits, and they'll be standing out on the corner of their neighborhood somewhere, and one of the option school buses will come pick them up. It might have kids that are also attending base or ACMA or other option schools on that bus. And all those kids get gathered from that neighborhood and they get brought to a hub. There are 3 hubs throughout the district. ISB happens to be one of the hubs, but also so are 2 other options. ACMA is a hub, as is base. Once they get to that hub, they will then hop on another bus. If they're not already at ISB, they'll hop on another bus and they will be joined by other kids from other buses that will go directly to ISB. This whole thing this process can take a while. It's not uncommon for kids to have a bus pickup time of 6:15 or a little bit earlier in the morning, and they will be arriving on our campus somewhere around 7:15. The afternoon is a little bit different. Afternoons, our school lets out at 2:05. Comprehensive high schools let out at 2:30. And that also is by design. So students will get dismissed from ISB, and we have 14 buses that go, and all of our kids, 6 through 12, hop on those buses, and they go to the home high schools. They go to Aloha, they go to Beaverton, Sunset, Southridge. They go to all of those schools, and they arrive on those campuses just before school lets out for them. And if they live close enough, they would then walk home from there. If they live a ways away from those high schools, then they would hop on that bus with other local home high school students, and then they would be brought to the neighborhoods again. One of the reasons that transportation is designed this way is because it's a way for our ISB students to get to the home high schools if they do want to compete on the soccer team or the football team, or even being a part of the drama productions that they might have or other activities. So that is transportation in a nutshell. And sometimes it takes a couple of explanations for it to kind of sink in. So just, reach out if you have questions.
So at this point, we'll start to close down here. Obviously, if you're interested in applying to ISB, go to the Beaverton School District website, and under the drop-down menu for families, you can choose learning options. The lottery application is due by 4 p.m. on December 10th. And only those submitted by that time will be considered. If you end up filling out a paper one, please make sure you submit it to the district office by that time, so that you can get into the lottery. In a moment, we'll take some questions. So if you want to start putting questions into the YouTube chat, you can do that, and we'll address those questions. But I want to close just with a short video that I believe captures the spirit and the heart of ISB and what ISB is about. This was made earlier this school year when we celebrated the International Day of Peace as a whole school.
Are you guys ready for peace? Yeah.
I am Andrew Guilford. I am the principal at the International School of Beaverton, part of the Beaverton School District. So we are taking our entire student body and we're going out onto our field and we're going to be making a gigantic peace sign out there.
I actively embrace the promise of a peaceful world by picking up after our community and caring for others and helping them in need.
I actively embrace the promise of a peaceful world by challenging outdated definitions of peace and by committing to accept diverse cultural expressions.
So today we are celebrating the International Day of Peace. And that connects a lot to our mission here at the International School of Beaverton. We try to create compassionate world citizens.
I actively embrace a peaceful world by advocating for what I believe in and standing up for myself and others.
I actively embrace the promise of a peaceful world by treating everyone how I want to be treated, no matter their race, color, or religion.
It is rare that we're actually able to bring our whole school together. We have students from 48 different language groups. We have students of multiple ethnicities, multiple religions, multiple races, and being able to connect those students to each other and have those students sit down in class together and laugh and play and learn is the first steps in actually creating that peaceful world. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen at this point. And then if you want to put questions in the chat, I know Bill, I think you're monitoring the chat. If you want to just put those questions out there, we'll try and address them as best as we can.
We do have a couple already. I've been answering some throughout as we've gone. I think there's a couple people that could use clarification or solidification, whatever you want to say about like, is there AP level course options? I kind of answered that saying we don't really do a la carte AP type classes. They were asking, there was a question about possibly taking AP classes like on a different site while you're enrolled here. I'll throw that out there to you guys and let you guys answer that. Has that ever been done before? I don't imagine it has.
No, it hasn't. I don't even want to say that IB courses are comparable to AB because I'm biased and I think they're a lot better. The depth and the focus on skills and the focus on content and knowledge and skills that have leverage beyond that course and connect to other courses is what IB is about. IB is a program, and I've both taught and been an administrator at schools that have IB and AP in the past. And one of the things that's unique about the IB program, which I think is different from AP courses, is the IB program is integrated. That class theory of knowledge that we mentioned earlier, CAS requirements, the extended essay, all of those pull together students' knowledge, students' experiences in the variety of those different courses that they're taking. And so it's a much more integrated approach. We don't offer AP courses here. If students were to find other places to take AP courses or be attending community college classes at the same time, those wouldn't necessarily show up on our ISB transcript. We're kind of committed to this program and to the philosophy of the program that we have.
Okay. Regarding, there was questions about getting more information about specifics for each class. I think specifically with the IB program, I know our website has links to like specific learning targets, maybe not necessarily course descriptions. I don't know what the best way to get like a full course outline might be, or anything beyond the learning targets that are on the ISB website.
I think the course descriptions are on there also in the course catalog that's there. And I think if there's a specific course that a parent or a student is interested in, they want to know what it covers, they can certainly reach out to us and we can tap into that teacher and share what that is. The other place is the IBO website. So the International Baccalaureate website itself is going to have that broken down in great detail in terms of what those outcomes are for each course. And in some ways that might even be a better place to go. We do the IB program with fidelity. And so our teachers are tracking what those outcomes are, what those criteria are, what the different elements that need to be included in that course in order to be able to teach it. And part of it we do it because we believe in the program, but part of it we do it because we're audited every 5 years. And part of that audit that happens from the IBO relates to the fact, as to whether or not we're actually addressing that program with fidelity. So either reach out to us directly if there's specific courses you're interested in, or go onto the IBO website and you can find some of that there.
There was also a question about self-study for language and what that looks like and kind of who would be qualified for that.
Dirk, you want to take that? Yeah.
Yeah. The self-study is a way for the IB to acknowledge and validate the student's home language. If it's not a course that's offered, such as Russian or Vietnamese, and students are truly have been in school in that language, there is another teacher who has a lot of experience in sort of organizing that. And so we have it's a very small number of students. You truly have to have been in school and used academic language, done, literature study and reading and writing at a level that obviously we're not offering it. It's there. It's a very case-by-case situation. It's a very small number of students who choose that, but it certainly exists. And again, that would be sort of like a specific follow-up. We can get you in touch with the person who coordinates that. But it would replace your language course in your schedule. So you wouldn't have one of the three courses we offer.
If I'm not mistaken, even though we're calling that a world language, the work they do in that self-taught class is comparable to an English language arts class.
Correct.
So they're not learning Vietnamese grammar. They are reading Vietnamese literature and writing analytical essays in Vietnamese. So it's almost as if they have two language arts class and no world language class. And those two language arts classes are in two different languages.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's just a couple more. Someone was asking about the size of the 11th grade class, and then how many of those kids generally are kind of new to ISB for that year, since there's a little bit of turnover there between 10th and 11th grade.
Catherine, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I would say our biggest in high school, the biggest group that comes in is in 9th grade. And I would say that's typically around 30 plus students. It's always around there. In terms of, it's definitely a lot less with 10th and 11th grade. I think this year we had about 2 or 3 11th graders join us. And that's kind of typical with 10th grade too. So most students that are coming new to us are in 9th grade. But even our students that come in 10th and 11th grade, they jump in. And I will say, the rest of the class definitely embraces them. They find their people through classes, through clubs, through everything. I mean, we even had new students who started last year during CDL and managed to create groups and communities.
And then the last one was about just where do they get information about shadow days and visiting the school, things like that. Is that happening during these times, or?
Unfortunately not, although I should say maybe. We've had to put the shadow days on hold right now just because of our existing facilities. We are at capacity when it relates to social distancing due to COVID. And so to have shadow days where we have a number of students that are here in addition to what we have, we can't do that this year unless the metrics change between now and January or February, which very well may happen. I think in the past, usually we hold those either in January or even into February is when those are held early February. And so if those metrics change, we're able to do that. We'll put that out to those families that have been accepted through the lottery to see if they want to do that. I know that's tough. And I know that's a big part of it is just sort of getting a sense of the place by being there. But just given the pandemic situation, we can't do that this year.
Okay. And we just got one more in here at the last minute that says, after IB, do kids still prepare and take SAT and ACT exams for college applications? Is that the norm?
Catherine, you want to go again on
that? So typically our 11th grade students take the ACT, and that's usually a district-wide. So students have at least one score that they've taken at school. And we do have students who decide to take the SATs as well, but four-year colleges are looking at either ACT or SAT. And then typically our students take it one more time their senior year to try to improve scores. As of right now, because of the the pandemic and everything, a lot of schools are changing their policies. A lot before the pandemic were going test optional. You can actually look that up on Fair Test. Schools will list if they're test optional or not. So a lot of schools are going that route. But yes, typically students take it at least once their junior year, and then one more time their senior year.
I think that's it. No more questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight. Like I said earlier, please reach out to the school. I know on our website, there's kind of an info email link that goes directly to one of our office staff's mailbox, and they make sure those questions are answered from there or referred to the direct person that needs to respond to it. Love to hear more from you if you have any questions that come up after this. And also all this video will be captured and on the website as well. So if you're wanting to go back and watch it again or try and pick up a missed key point that you want to see, that'll be on there too. And you can do that. So at this point, I'm going to disconnect the live stream, and I appreciate you coming.